Welcome to episode 1 of the Nintendo Newscast. Introducing your hosts, Lauren and Amiibo Jason.
Good evening, Nintendo fans! Not just Amiibo Nintendo fans. Nintendo fans. Welcome to episode 1 of the Nintendo Newscast. Episode 1, our flagship program. How does it feel?
Feels good, it feels fresh, and it's perfect time for spring, rolling out a brand new newscast.
I agree. Here we are with a brand new podcast. We told you guys that we were going to be doing this. We're going to go into a little bit of a kind of like a introduction of what we're going to be doing over the next several months with this.
Yep.
And honestly, I think you're going to be excited and surprised.
I think so. I mean, I get more and more excited thinking about it, and as I see the progress and all the changes being made very slowly over time with everything that we're doing,
Yeah.
I get increasingly more excited.
So yeah, I'm in the same boat. So before we go too far into this, we should probably touch base on the elephant in the room. What happened to the Amiibo Newscast, and why are we doing the Nintendo Newscast?
Yep.
So I'm going to let you go ahead and say kind of your thoughts on why we decided to do the migration over.
Okay. Well, the Amiibo Newscast went on, oh gosh, I think it was 1 year.
Yeah, it was about a year.
1 year. So it was a nice round amount of time. We felt that it was a good time to kind of switch gears on over to Nintendo, because with the Amiibo craze, it's still high, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Things have been changing with the Amiibo distribution, and therefore the community and everything involved. So we decided to switch gears a little bit more and be more of an all-encompassing newscast. News has dwindled down more with Amiibo, and to help, I guess, keep the Nintendo talk alive, we're going to incorporate that all the Amiibo news into this Nintendo Newscast, and kind of turn it into something more full-fledged that takes on games and merchandise and everything that we love so much about Nintendo.
Yeah, I completely agree. We want to have the ability to talk to you guys more about awesome toys that are coming out, like on the Nintendo side. Obviously, the NX is coming out soon. Hopefully, we don't necessarily have a firm release date on that yet, but
yet.
It is coming, so we want to be able to touch base with you guys on that as well. So here we are with the Nintendo Newscast, and honestly, I think you're going to be excited to see what's coming in the future with this.
Yeah.
And another point that we should bring up right away, too, is our YouTube account. Yes. We have decided, instead of trying to manage 2 YouTube accounts simultaneously, one for Amiibo News and one for Nintendo Inquirer, it would make a lot more sense for us to combine those 2 together. So if you are an Amiibo News subscriber, you probably have already seen this. The name of the channel has changed. We're going to be changing some of the banners and the artwork on that soon as well. But yeah, we are going to be focusing on Amiibo and Nintendo-related news on our YouTube channel as well.
Yep. Looking forward to that. It's nice to see the 2 kind of coming together. It's that visual type of representation of exactly what is going on with the newscast.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so for this week, we're going to touch on a few topics. We still have our speed round at the end, which is going to be our Nintendo speed round. But for the time being, we're going to go through a few topics that really at least piqued our interest in this past, 30 days. Yeah. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Star Fox Zero. So Star Fox Zero is on its way out. It's coming bundled with Star Fox Guard. I am extremely excited for this game, not just as a Nintendo fan, but also an Amiibo fan.
Yep.
We had the opportunity to play Star Fox Zero at E3 last year, back when the game was supposed to come out late last year.
Yeah, at that point, we did not know that it was going to get pushed so far back.
Not at all.
No.
And now here we are, almost a year later. E3 is coming up in 2 months, and the game is coming out this month, finally. So we're a few days away.
Yep.
And we have some new details on the gameplay, which is exciting, too.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see, you have played Star Fox on the N64.
Nope.
You haven't?
I have not. So this is why, as soon as we started talking about we're going to have a Star Fox segment, I'm thinking this is going to be mostly Jason, because I am not familiar with Star Fox.
I'm going to have to shun you now.
No.
That's disappointing.
It's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. I enjoy Star Fox Talk.
Yeah.
But this is definitely something that you're going to be probably focusing on more as far as
all right.
news and all that.
So I'll take the reins on this one then, so to speak. Star Fox Zero reminds me a lot of Star Fox 64, and I think it's going back to its roots, and that's a very, very good thing. There was a lot of criticism when it first came out, when we first got to play it at E3, that the motion controls weren't the greatest.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm not completely sold on to begin with anyway. Motion controls were always kind of something that I struggled with.
Yeah.
But I played it, and I immediately was able to figure the motion controls out. Almost immediately. It was something that was very, very well implemented into the game. And now we have all these other companies that have had their chance to get a review copy of the game early, and they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
That the motion controls are pretty darn good.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
So do you think that between the time that you tried it at last year's E3 and now, anything has changed regarding
I'm sure they did.
motions controls? And I'm guessing you're probably hoping that it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for you?
Well, it wasn't bad to begin with.
Okay.
I only had a few minutes to play the game at E3.
Yeah.
And even then, I was able to pick up the levels pretty quickly. So, I mean, obviously you have the cockpit view on your gamepad, which is really cool. But it wasn't even that difficult to do most of the small maneuvers.
Okay.
So I would imagine that with more time with the game, I'll be totally fine with it.
Nice.
I am excited to see more of the Amiibo support that has kind of come out for this too. So for the Amiibo support, on the Amiibo support side, we see that Amiibo work in Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard, at least in some way. We finally got our first view of what Falco does in the game, and he unlocks a black R-Wing, which is really neat. A lot of people criticized this game for being too easy. There's apparently an invisible R-Wing mode in this game that makes you totally invisible in the game.
Yeah.
They said it's for people that aren't very good at games, that if they want to go through the game and completely do it without having any kind of risk of losing,
well, do you think
they can do that.
Do you think to contrast that, they threw in a few more difficult elements, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that's what the Dark R-Wing's for.
Okay.
So the Dark R-Wing is pretty much the opposite. It's kind of like what Ganondorf did in Twilight Princess HD, and it makes it a lot harder. So it it takes triple damage, I believe.
Yeah.
So it makes it very, very difficult to get through a level, unless you're very good.
Yeah.
And I think I'll probably go through the whole game that way.
With the Dark R-Wing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
I like the challenge.
Yeah.
I really do.
You wouldn't want to try out both modes, or do you think you'll
I'll do both.
try?
I'll do both, for sure. I'm going to be spending a lot of time with this game.
Yeah.
And if it's a Star Fox game, you probably know it's not going to be the longest campaign. You've never played Star Fox 64, but I remember when it came out on 3DS, I played through an entire game when I was at the gym.
Yeah.
So, I mean, depending on what path you take, it's not a very long game.
Okay.
So I'll be experimenting with this a lot. And the same thing with Star Fox Guard. I like that kind of game.
Yeah.
It's more of a strategy game than anything else. And I know that if you tap the Fox or the Falco amiibo into Star Fox Guard, you get air support from Fox or Falco, which is really neat. I hear rumors and rumblings.
Oh, there are so many rumors about everything Nintendo these days.
I hear rumors and rumblings that there's going to be other amiibos supported in the game. I don't have any confirmation.
I know that we've been hearing a lot of people speak up about wanting more Star Fox amiibo. In fact, we really did think that a whole new line of Star Fox amiibo were going to be announced months ago.
Never happened.
But never happened. And I really am a little bit shocked. I mean, we saw for Kirby Planet Robobot, we saw that line announced as soon as the game was announced.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed because I might not be a Star Fox fan, but I definitely still appreciate new amiibo releases.
Oh yeah, and we're going to be talking about those Kirby amiibo soon too.
Yeah.
Actually, our next segment's going to be about that. So
Excellent.
I'll let you take the reins on that one once we get there, because I know you know a lot more about that piece of it.
A bit.
So
we might be pretty equal on that.
So I want to go over kind of the initial impressions of this game at this point. So a lot of places, like I said, have had the opportunity to play this game early. IGN had a little recap on it. GameSpot had a recap on it. A lot of the smaller sites did as well. And it's generally at this point really well accepted.
Yeah.
So most people think this game is really well done.
Excellent.
I know the embargo hasn't lifted on the reviews for this yet.
Not yet.
So we're not going to get a good idea of when that's going to happen, probably until maybe I'm not even sure when the embargo is up for reviews on this. I'm guessing a week or two.
Probably. I mean, the release date's coming up very quickly.
But
so.
just the fact that Nintendo allowed people to share footage so early and initial impressions so early, it's making me think that they have a pretty big winner on their hands.
I think so. It's a general pattern we've tend to notice with Nintendo releases.
Yep. So that's coming out soon. We're looking at about 2 weeks from the time this podcast airs. So we'll be doing, I'm sure, some Let's Play.
Oh yeah,
of that
most
as well.
definitely. Yeah, because it'll be a nice contrast between us, a longtime Star Fox fan, and a newbie.
There you go. And what's cool is we're going to be streaming now every Wednesday. At least that's the idea. So as new games come out, we get to play them with you.
Yes. So stay tuned on Wednesdays from now on.
So there we go. Star Fox Zero. It's on its way out. Go buy it. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're going to buy it anyway.
What is that? April 22nd?
I believe so. I'll put the correct date right here on the screen.
Pretty sure it's April 22nd.
There you go. I think you're right. All right. Next topic is... Go ahead.
Kirby Planet Robobot, right? And, well, I mean, this is going to tie in with
it
everything
does. It
else.
ties in.
So I think we should touch base a little bit on Kirby Planet Robobot, a little bit.
Sure.
Because of the beautiful Amiibo line, the 4 new Amiibo we have coming with the game.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of the Kirby franchise, although I've got to admit, I haven't played every single game. I just have my favorites. But my favorites are very secure in my favorites list.
Yeah.
I know you did not enjoy Triple Deluxe as much.
Nope,
but
sucked.
I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful game. I played the entire game through. I beat it. I was not a completionist when it came to the game, but I enjoyed it just as much. There were so many different things that you could collect and try to achieve in there, and that's what I loved. I loved the whole keychain collection. I got really excited whenever I would get a special keychain at the end of a level. So that was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Nintendo brings to this new installment now. To see Kirby decked out in this huge robot mech. I mean, he looks so powerful, this cute little puffball, pink puffball.
Oh, yeah.
It looks extra adorable. How does this mech armor make it look extra adorable?
I think it's just the contrast of having a marshmallow inside a robot, which is very bizarre.
Very sweet, though. Super sweet. I'm excited, though, to see all of these new Amiibo released alongside of the game.
I agree.
Yeah. Which one are you most excited about?
Honestly, the Kirby on the Superstar. I think a lot of people are more excited for Waddle Dee because it's the first time we've seen this Amiibo.
Yeah.
We've already had DDD, we've already had Meta Knight and Kirby. I think Kirby's adorable on top of that star.
Yeah.
So I love that. I also love the bases that these Amiibo are on.
They're different.
They are.
They're finally different compared to other Amiibo releases we've had. I think the reason why I like Waddle Dee is because I kind of envision him as a little bit more of an underdog in the Kirby character lineup.
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't see him as someone that stands out in the forefront so much. So to see somebody who is always more in the background, acknowledged in Amiibo form, makes me a little bit anxious to see other characters in other games kind of brought forward through Amiibo.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And along with this, we have 2 new dioramas that Nintendo just released.
Not released yet. They announced.
Oh, they announced them. I'm sorry. They're for pre-order though, right?
In Japan.
Yes.
So they are not coming out in the States as of yet.
No.
There's a chance they might though.
Yeah, but with the way things are going these days with Amiibo and any type of special products, because most of them are released always either in Japan first or only in Japan, people by now are used to importing. So when I say they're released, I mean people are just going to go fly over to other sites and import them anyway.
And I did that this morning.
Of course.
So these dioramas are very cool. They're foldable, which is designed, I think, so you can take it with you, which I don't know why you would want to do that with Amiibo, but whatever. It's an interesting design choice. I think it's nice for storage, too. I envision Nintendo releasing a lot of different dioramas, and I think the folding design of them are going to make them easier for somebody to just like say, okay, I want to do this one this day, and not have to have like an entire closet full of like these huge dioramas.
Personally, as a photographer, I find the fold-up type of setup extremely helpful and beneficial because in the past I've had very large setups that are extremely difficult to constantly take down and set back up.
Yeah.
So if you're into photography, this is the ideal type of product for you to have. And even though it's smaller, when you fold it out, you don't want these, delicate pieces to get hurt. So it's very nice for storage reasons and even for display reasons. If you want to keep it out like that with your Amiibo displayed on it, it's beautiful.
Yeah. We probably should get into what these dioramas are.
Yes.
So we have one based on Kirby, and then we have another based on the Super Smash Bros. Series. The Kirby one is super cute. I'm a fan of all the dioramas to begin with. This is not the first time we've seen Nintendo Japan do this. They did something very similar with Animal Crossing. It never made its way to the States, and I think it was an exclusive pre-order bonus, or you could only get it if you purchased something through Amazon Japan.
Okay.
I'm almost positive on that one. This is the first time, though, it's not like a bonus item. It's something that you can buy just outright. So it's about $8 US. If you want to import it, you're going to spend more, obviously, not just for the increase from like Play Asia, but shipping is expensive.
Yeah.
I think I paid like $23 for shipping on everything, which was kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But the Kirby one is really, really cute. I'm actually going to pull up a photo of that one here real quick. The Super Smash Brothers one is based on, I can't remember the name of the course.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to kill me.
What I like about the Super Smash Brothers one is that you have the platforms up higher, too.
Yeah.
Like you would actually see in one of the Super Smash Brothers courses. So it was kind of cool to see that one. Because I believe with like the Animal Crossing one and the Kirby one, too, all the platforms are on the lower level. And so you just have the backdrop. But with the Super Smash Brothers one, even though there's not a background behind them on the higher platforms, it's still really cool to see them raised like that. And if you're creative, you can actually create your own backdrop behind the diorama.
And if you're watching the video cast of this, you'll be able to see it pretty nicely, at least what we're talking about right now. But yeah, the Super Smash Brothers one is cool. It has the Smash Ball as well. I think it's movable, so you can take like the Smash Ball and move it to whatever character you want to have it.
Yeah.
The Kirby one is kind of this nighttime cloud scene. There's a moon in the background, stars all over the place. It supports all 4 of the brand new Kirby Amiibo right there for you.
What I really like about both of them is that they're extremely vibrant.
Yeah.
But they still have, I guess, paler tones in the places that the Amiibo are placed on. So when you place these colorful Amiibo on them, they still pop against the background because you have a good balance of both bright and paler colors. I like that a lot. And little did Jason know, but I actually ordered the Animal Crossing diorama.
There you go.
So we will have all 3, and they'll probably arrive. Actually, mine will arrive sooner because these aren't officially out yet. But I'm excited to take advantage of photographing Amiibo on all of these.
Yeah. So if you're looking for these, you can get them now, at least for pre-order at Play Asia. I know that they have them right now. A few things to consider. If you want the Kirby Amiibo and you want them soon, your best bet's importing. Japan gets them in April. We get them in June. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
But you know me, I can't wait. I have to have the Amiibo pretty much the second they come out.
Yeah.
That's why I have Amiibo before my name. So
Amiibo Jason.
There is, however, another interesting piece of Amiibo merchandise that got announced, I think it was yesterday as well, and that is it's called the Kirby, what is this thing? I think it's called the Kirby Superstar Diorama. Oh man, it's gonna kick my butt. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially it is a Kirby Amiibo box, the Kirby and the Superstar, and then on top of that is a diorama.
Yeah.
So it's this super long box. If you're watching this in the video cast, you can see it right in front of you. It's a really unique box, and I'm an inbox collector for Amiibo, so I have to have this thing.
Yeah, definitely. Storage wise, it would be difficult, but if you're displaying it, it's a beautiful piece to have up with your other in-box Amiibo.
It's a long box. I have to have it.
It is. One thing I would like to note is that when you were talking about the Smash Ball that was included with the Smash Brothers one, I like the idea of including small, even if they're paper accessories with these dioramas. I would have loved to see that with the Animal Crossing one. I think that that's something that Nintendo should consider doing a little bit more with future products like this.
Yeah, I have a very strong feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot of these coming out.
It'd be great to see these in stores.
They're cheap. They're super cheap. So I think anytime Nintendo comes out with a new line of Amiibo, they're going to be coming with a diorama, at least alongside. Can you imagine a Zelda U diorama?
Based on the art that we've seen for that already,
yeah.
Oh, that would be beautiful. I would like to see that one be a larger diorama, though. I would like to see that one span out, because I'm thinking of the open fields and everything. And when you think of that type of artwork, you really want this really beautiful big landscape behind the Amiibo.
Oh, so I agree.
Hopefully it'll be a little bit bigger.
So that is that. So that is the Kirby and Super Smash Bros. Diorama segment. I'm excited.
Yes,
I don't think there's anything else to say about it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's what I was most excited to talk about, because I love these things.
Honestly, I think I'm becoming more excited for like the accessories that are coming out more so than the games. They're just so much fun to get in the mail and so much fun to look at.
We already have our favorite games.
Yeah.
And we have our favorite franchises. So now it's about commemorating those favorites with fun things like accessories, either for our consoles or for our home.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the next piece, and this is going to be probably one of the more difficult topics to touch on, and this is the NX rumors. So we have been getting NX rumors back, I would say, since probably about 6-7 months ago. They started trickling in.
It's been a long time.
And now here we are. We're supposedly in the release year for the NX. Maybe. We have no official confirmation about any of it.
Yeah.
And I think the NX rumors are kind of coming hard and fast at the moment. So we had controller leaks.
Yes.
Supposedly those were debunked completely because some people have nothing better to do with their time.
They were cool looking, yes, but the question is, how much stock can you put into this this kind of stuff? And luckily, a lot of people tiptoe around it until they're proven wrong.
Yeah, and if you're curious, somebody mocked up essentially a controller that they found like the plans for it in a, what do they call that? A patent. So Nintendo filed like a patent for a controller. They took the image that was in that patent and they created a mock-up of this controller. They took photos of it. They pretended it was a leak. The fans bought it up. We ate it up. We thought it was real, too, to a certain extent.
Yeah, we questioned it, for sure. But we said, wow, it would be kind of cool if it was leaning towards this.
But it wasn't real. But supposedly now we have this whole new batch of real leaks coming from somebody who was apparently in the industry. Yeah. They were confirmed. They were essentially confirmed true by Reddit mods, but I don't know how much stock I could put into that as well. But they're essentially saying that it will have support for an additional screen, which we pretty much already knew.
Yep.
It'll be able to contact or have like communications with a smartphone application, maybe something like Miitomo. I could imagine having the ability to make your Mii on your phone and then move it over to your NX console.
Yeah. Everything should really be shared at this point. I mean, with the way cloud systems work.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll see that.
That was another piece of it, that cloud saves and cloud system is going to be a huge part of this console. Again, something we pretty much already knew. Yeah. And then they said it's going to be running on an x86 architecture. So nothing overly huge on this one.
You know what? Sometimes these rumors get a little bit fuzzy with all the speculation that we've heard now ever since the idea of the NX was announced.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about how like the handheld will be combined with the home console and the whole cloud system and all this. And because people have been talking about it so much, sometimes when all of a sudden these rumors start being a little bit closer to at least being verified, all of a sudden I don't feel that rush of excitement anymore. I don't feel that shock, just because the talk has been circulated for so long.
Yeah, and no one's going to believe it anyway until Nintendo actually announces what these things are.
Yeah.
I'm honestly getting kind of sick of them anyway to begin with.
Me too.
I know to a certain extent we need to make sure we report on them to us, at least if they seem somewhat credible.
Yeah.
We always try to take it with a grain of salt, though.
Yes.
I know the latest batch of rumors that just came out was that it's going to support 4K content to a certain extent. from what the leak said, it was only going to support like 4K streaming for video, but it's not going to support 4K for games, which makes sense, especially if it's going to be on par with like the PlayStation 4, slightly more powerful than that. But the biggest rumor that I saw today, probably the most credible thing, it's not about the hardware, but it's about the Legend of Zelda U.
Yes.
And the rumor at this point is that it's going to be made available on the Wii U and the NX simultaneously.
Okay.
Or on the NX shortly thereafter.
Okay.
So it's essentially going to be the same game with the NX having more bells and whistles, better looking graphics. Very similar to what they did with the GameCube version and the Wii version, where the Wii version came out the GameCube version came out after the Wii version, even though development started on the GameCube.
Yeah.
But that's where we are with NX rumors at the moment. I'm sure there's a lot more, but we figured we'd at least touch on them for the time being to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going through. We get so much stuff sent to us about potential NX rumors that we have to sift through and make sure that we have at least something that's credible to bring back to you guys.
Yes, and we always like to make sure that we state that, you know, these are just rumors at this point. We don't want to make people believe that we're saying this is going to be a sure thing. So always know that when we tag that rumor, rumor word on there, it's for a reason.
I want to talk to you a bit about the potential of Zelda being on the NX over the Wii U or simultaneously on both. As a fan, because I have thoughts on this, and I'll get into it after you. But as a Zelda fan, because I know you do care for the Zelda franchise as well.
Very much.
Does that bug you at all that the Wii U would essentially not get its own dedicated version of a Zelda game unless you want to consider Hyrule Warriors, which I don't personally.
I don't consider that a full-fledged Zelda game at all. That one's the collaboration piece between two different franchises.
So essentially for the Wii U, the only thing that we got in the Zelda line besides Hyrule Warriors was remasters. So we got a Wind Waker HD and a Twilight Princess HD. To a certain extent, that doesn't sit overly well with me, but at the same time, I'm excited to see what could happen.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It really doesn't bother me that the Wii U did not get its own Zelda game. I don't feel like in order for Zelda to be appreciated, that it has to be on every single console release.
Yeah.
We've had so many different generations now of consoles. They're being really pumped out very, very consistently now over the years. And I'm very happy with the games that we've gotten on the 3DS. And the thing that we have to remember these days is that we don't just have the home console anymore. We have a home console and the handheld, which is to me I love my handheld, my 3DS, even more than the Wii U. So we got A Link Between Worlds, and we got Triforce Heroes, even though I would probably consider A Link Between Worlds a little bit more of a classic Zelda game.
I agree.
Over Triforce Heroes. And I'm completely satisfied that we were able to get the Zelda game on the 3DS. I mean, at this point, we were just talking about the two merging, the home console and the handheld. Yeah. And so I think at this point, we also have to consider that this is the early stages of us transitioning into that new era. So why not consider the new games on the 3DS kind of like shared between the two systems?
I think what bugs me is I remember
There's
back...
something that bugs you?
Yeah, of course there is. I remember back to when they were showing off the Wii U and they showed that tech demo of Link, and I think Navi was behind him, and they were going into a temple. I believe it was the Temple of Time. They showed off all the lighting effects. Link fought this huge spider. It was so amazing, and everybody's jaw hit the ground. They're like, oh my god, this is what the Wii U could be, and it just skipped it.
Yeah.
And then they announced Zelda U, and it's been in development for quite some time, more time than I can even say at this point. And the idea that it's going over to NX, it does excite me because I'm obviously buying an NX, and I've already waited this long for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of sad because I love the Wii U.
Yeah.
I honestly think it doesn't get the credit it deserves as a console.
It deserves more credit, but I don't think that it's going to be as exciting as the NX is going to be.
Oh, I concur with that.
And I also fully believe that Nintendo takes its time when it's creating its games. So Nintendo has put so much care and time and just thought into creating Zelda U.
Yeah.
I would rather it be prepared for the latest and greatest rather than them almost, for lack of a better word, settling for something that where it could be better, where they have the technology to make it better. So if they're going to release it to what they feel meets their standards.
Well, I mean, if we're going to take the new rumor at face value, it means it is still coming out on the Wii U to a certain extent.
It is, but I mean, even though you might want maybe a copy for both of them, I feel like you might be a little bit more interested, especially with the NX being so so interesting. We don't even know anything about it right now, but we're just fascinated with it. I feel like if you had a choice, if you had both of them in front of you, you would probably lean more towards trying the NX first.
Oh, yeah, I mean, more horsepower, the better. I mean, I get that. It's going to be odd, though. If that rumor turns out to be true, it's going to be weird to see like a subpar version of a game released on the Wii U, especially if the NX one is loaded with all this additional content. Maybe if they bundled both of them in the same thing, or if they were slightly different. I don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
And this rumor could be completely BS at this point, too, so who knows? But either way, I'm excited for it.
Yes,
and
me too.
I'm somewhat okay with the idea of it skipping over the Wii U if it needs to.
I'm fine with it. I trust Nintendo when it comes to these types of huge releases.
As long as the NX comes out this year, because if it doesn't and they delay Zelda into next year, I'm going to lose it.
Along with many, many other fans
out
there.
For sure. So those are the NX rumors that we have at the moment. If we have more, we'll be back next week with even more NX rumors. I'm sure we'll even have like a dedicated section of our podcast
just
to NX rumors. So. Yeah. But I think to close this out, before we go into our speed round, we wanted to talk about My Nintendo and Miitomo.
Yes.
I'm going to leave Miitomo to you because you are the one who's at the moment completely obsessed with Miitomo.
Yeah. Well, you kind of look over at me all the time and you'll see me on my phone. And I don't play apps on my phone.
Yeah.
I use my phone specifically for communicating either with our team or my family and friends, or I use it for photography. But other than that, I really don't use it for anything except now Miitomo.
There you go. You have something.
It is my one and only app, my fun app that I use. And I love that thing so much.
So I can touch on My Nintendo real quick, and then I'll let you jump right into Miitomo. So My Nintendo finally launched. It launched alongside Miitomo. Yeah. It's the new account system. A lot of people said it's the new rewards program. So what was that called again? Club Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's been so long that I already forgot what it was called. So it supposedly was like this brand new Club Nintendo, even though I was really disappointed with the kind of like rewards and awards that you can get through it. They award you a lot more stuff, technically pretty much all the stuff, if you buy stuff digitally.
Yeah.
Which I get. For them, it's easier to do digital distribution. They don't have to print things. They don't have to like take a cut if they send it to the store. I get it. It's a business move. But the prizes are kind of lame. So the games are kind of, they're okay. Yeah. There's nothing like over the top. I miss the physical stuff. Like I got the Luigi's Mansion diorama. I got all the Nintendo character dioramas. Yeah. I got all this really cool stuff. And there isn't really a lot of hope at this point that kind of award program or reward program is going to return.
I was hoping they would be releasing like a second or third wave instead. I thought maybe that with this new My Nintendo, they were introducing just kind of like a first wave of prizes.
Sure.
Kind of like an introductory, here's what we have to offer right now, but this is what we'll have later. But there's been no hint so far. So I don't know what's coming.
I think everything's going to be digital for rewards at this point, unless there's like a different promotion.
You and I are not digital players.
No, not at all.
We have to be digital players, unless a game is only offered, like Earthbound.
Yeah.
Like Earthbound, which is a port. If that's offered, you and I would be in the eShop in a second. But other than that, we really don't like buying anything but cartridges.
Not unless we have to.
Yeah.
But more or less, I mean, My Nintendo is like this all-encompassing system that you can like have your account on your 3DS, supposedly on your NX when that comes out, and on the Wii U. It works well in practice, so everything works pretty well. Yeah. I'm just disappointed with the program itself. So I'm sure I'll get used to it.
Well, maybe we'll see changes. I'm still crossing my fingers for changes.
Well, I haven't seen anything like a gold or a platinum reward at the end of the year, anything like that. So there's no hint that that's coming back, like this big, gigantic, cool thing that you could get.
It's still early, though. It's still early.
But even at the end of the Club Nintendo's lifespan, those rewards started to get pretty lame. I remember when I first got it, my first reward was this Mario hat, like this cool plush Mario hat, and then the diorama came out. And then from there, it was like, oh, here's a CD or a digital game. I think the last 2 years, they said, here's a game you can pick out digitally. It sucked.
Well, our rewards never compared to the awards or rewards overseas.
Yeah.
Europe had some awesome ones. I was always jealous of
Yeah.
what they were getting over there.
They had a statue of Link on Epona that was like this big. It was huge. And it was like completely gold.
Yeah.
So, I don't
That's
know.
amazing. Yeah, so if Nintendo is going to start up with the physical rewards, I'd love to see a little bit more impressive items come out through it.
All right, so that's my Nintendo in a nutshell. So I'm going to let you jump into Miitomo.
Miitomo. Oh, what is there not to say about Miitomo? I mean, it does definitely has its pros and cons. I will, I already stated that I'm not a big app player, so it's not like I have a ton of experience with that. But I do have experience with Tomodachi Life, which I was so stoked about when it was first released.
Yeah.
I went out on launch day. I sat outside for the entire day playing it, and I sat outside the entire summer playing Tomodachi Life because I love that thing. It's very quirky, and Nintendo was able to bring that quirkiness over to a mobile app, which is fantastic. I think it's a fantastic way to kind of like launch its entry into the mobile world.
Yeah.
And it was able to bring that quirkiness over and at the same time still make it relatable to people, because what do people love doing? People love talking with their friends online.
Talking about themselves.
They love talking about themselves.
Yep.
And the whole basis of the game is basically answering questions about yourself and your own thoughts. And it's also about dressing up something really adorable that and then also represents you. So if you're a bit of a narcissist, you're gonna love this game, and I guess
That's why you love it so much. There you go.
I love little avatars, and my knee is the only avatar online that actually looks like me. Any other type of like avatar I've had like on Gaia online, it's never looked like me. So my knee, this is the first time ever, and I think that's why I'm having so much fun with it. It's the chibi version of myself, and while I might not wear these clothes, these items that you can buy in the shop using coins that you get through the app, I might not buy them in person. I might not wear them, but they represent who I am as far as my personality goes, and they represent my entire persona. And I think that's what a lot of people end up doing with their Miis. And like you just have plain fun with your Mii. It might not, your Mii looks like you, but when you dress your Mii, you just have fun with it. And I think that fully
I mean, it's completely different the way that we handle this.
It totally represents your personality, everything about you. And I think that's why I like it so much. I get to learn more about my friends, not through their answers, but through how they kind of conduct themselves through their Miis. And I'm fascinated by that. I think it's it isn't a game, and we stated this in our kind of like overview of Miitomo on its launch day, which was last week. It's only been out a week, and it's that addicting. And one of our writers, George, covered it. He did a fantastic job kind of just having fun talking about Miitomo. And that's what Miitomo is about. It is not a game. It is not a game. It's more of a type of social media outlet.
Yeah.
And so if you want to have fun in a more private yet public way with your friends and family, Miitomo is for you. For me, that's exactly what I'm using it for. And it's a great way to, like, in the middle of our work day, I can just kind of like sit back, and it's Nintendo related, but it's also personal.
Yeah.
And I can have fun with that. And I love talking to the rest of my team through there. And really, I have nothing but positive things to say about Miitomo. I just want to thank Nintendo for giving us something just a little bit different, but something still relatable.
It got a little old quick for me to a certain level. It's not a bad game at all. I still have fun playing it.
Not a game.
It's sort of a game.
It's not a game. A game is something
It's
with
a game.
objectives, I would say. If your objective is to get clothes and stuff, I'd say that's more of just like a personal, do you enjoy doing this? Don't you?
It's a social media platform to a certain certain level. Here's what I think Nintendo did, and I think they did it well.
Yeah.
They made getting gold coins super easy at first. They hook you up with all these gold coins, kind of like a drug dealer giving you your first like little bit of drugs.
First one's free.
And I noticed that the coins just started disappearing very quickly, very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where like the stuff in the shop got progressively more expensive.
It is a smart move. I'm surprised that they weren't slower with the progression of the increase.
And I don't even want to get started on Me Drop, how much of a pain in the butt that is. And they do that on purpose too. It's nearly impossible to get anything but candy unless you like have the perfect angle for it.
Fun tidbit though, people are sharing videos of how to get the items more easily on Twitter. So if you're having trouble getting a certain item, hop on Twitter and try to do a search for one of those items and probably do like a hashtag Miitomo that you're looking for, because people want to help others when it comes to getting these items. And it's I think it's going to be a lot easier. And as far as like the increase of coins go, I'm proud to say that I have not purchased any coins.
Oh, you
yet.
will.
But I keep looking. I'm like, you know what? I'm happy. I don't need a ton of new items, because a lot of the items they release are just different colorways of previous released items out there. So unless you're a big virtual collector, you probably won't need to. Do you want to pour money into this app?
Well, the items in the shop, they cycle out very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And that being said, if you don't have the coins, chances are it's going to be gone the next day, so you're going to end up buying coins.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not the kind of person who really gives a crap about what my avatar looks like. I mean, currently I think my avatar's wearing a red bikini top,
he is.
fishnet stockings, and a pair of Daisy Dukes, and a tiny little hat.
He worked so hard to get those fishnet stockings.
I did. So I don't really care what my avatar looks like. I think it's goofy, but I think there's a lot of people out there that want the coolest outfit for their me, and they're going to spend real money to do it. Thank God I haven't yet. I know you are. It's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time. I do love those things.
But yeah, I mean, that's Miitomo. Miitomo's fun. I have a good time with it to a certain extent. I can't spend more than a few minutes at a time on it, but I think that's how it was designed to be played.
It is. I guess you have to go into Miitomo not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's what George gets across in his article about it. You don't take it seriously, just have fun with it and do what you do, which is spend a couple minutes here and there on it while you're standing in line or, while you're waiting for something else. And that, I think, is the best way to use Miitomo. So don't go overboard with it.
Yep.
Unless you really, really want to.
But we'll take some... I have a screenshot here of... I'll show you Lauren's Miitomo me, and then I'll show you mine. But it's interesting, for sure.
Is.
And I think Nintendo should be applauded for trying something like this. It's a social media platform, and we know how quickly those come and go. So I guess it's a matter of seeing if the NX is going to have any kind of integration with Miitomo. Yeah. I would completely imagine it's going to.
Oh, yeah. I mean... In, what was it, 3 days? I think there were 3 million users around the world registered for that. It broke records, and I'm very happy for that.
I noticed that the usage from a lot of people dropped off a lot since opening weekend, but we'll see. There's still a decent amount of people on there.
Yeah.
So there we go. There's Miitomo. And honestly, that is the tail end of our very first episode of the Nintendo Newscast. Before we go, though, we want to do a few things. We want to do our speed round, which is our Nintendo speed round. You might have known this as the Amiibo News speed round in the past, but, now we're super original and we're calling it the Nintendo speed round. So we're going to go through some of the questions that you asked us on Twitter, and we'll answer as many as we can, as quickly as we can. And
Which is a lie, because we usually take forever answing all these questions.
This is a new podcast, so I'm going to go down the list and we're going to answer these questions in 5 to 10 seconds.
I hope you get to my favorite question.
I'm sure. Well, if we do 5 to 10 seconds, we'll get through a lot. Okay. So the first one is by Jake Sutherland. He wants to know, will there be more Zelda amiibos anytime soon? So many characters to choose from with Zelda. I say yes, there's going to be. Nintendo is smelling the money from Zelda. It's going to happen. All right, I'll let you do the next one. What is your opinion if the new Zelda does not support voice acting? Your opinion on playing as a male or female Link?
Oh, it's funny, because you asked me this question when we were playing Twilight Princess. You asked me, what's your opinion on voice acting?
Yep.
I am indifferent. I like the idea of no voice acting with what we have now, but I'm not opposed to the idea of bringing voice acting in as long as it's done well. And knowing that Nintendo has such high standards with every single type of detail, I feel like the company would do a fantastic job implementing voices. So it's kind of like trial and error. Let's see what happens.
Yep. And I'm going to answer that real quick, too. I think if all the characters talked and Link was still the silent protagonist, absolutely. Gordon Freeman style type of gameplay, absolutely. I'm totally cool with that. That was from Curtis Spade on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is from The Obsessor. Do you think Pokken Tournament will have Amiibo made? If so, which one would you want to see the most? I would say yes. I want to see a Pikachu Libre Amiibo. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I know there's been customs made of that one already.
Oh yeah.
But is it going to happen? No, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think
maybe cards.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of figures. If anything, maybe like 2 or 3, but honestly, I doubt that. I think that if anything, we would definitely get Amiibo cards.
Yeah.
We've talked about that in previous newscasts, and it just seems like the next step for Nintendo to take after the Amiibo, Animal Crossing cards are released, because we're seeing the end of that with Series 4 coming up. So it only makes sense that Pokemon would kind of be next.
All right. Next is, what is your ideal NX launch?
Animal Crossing, a brand new game that is that pays homage to the original formula. I want to see a new game with the original formula that's really hyped up with like a bunch of new features, though. Lots of new characters too, hopefully. I'm trying to think what else. I know I've thought about this before. Oh, Mother 3. I would love to see it. I would love to see, or some type of Earthbound related game. You know, something that we haven't heard of that's completely unexpected. Yes,
Mother
I want
4?
to see that. Yes, Mother 4. I think we were joking around, or someone was joking around about that recently. Those are the games that come to mind right now. I'm trying to think what else would be amazing. What are the ones that come to mind?
All right, so here we go. We have Zelda U number 1. I think that's going to be a given anyway.
Yes.
We're going to see a completely original game that's going to be very similar to Nintendo Land, showing off the new functions of whatever the NX is going to do. So that's going to happen. Same boat with you. I want to see Animal Crossing.
Yep.
I want to see a new Metroid Prime, like, direct game in the series, and I think the NX is a good way to do that. So I would like to see Metroid, and I would like to see something Pokemon related, even though I don't think it's going to happen. I do think we're going to get some sort of Mario launch title. Galaxy 3,
that was
maybe.
the one that I was hoping for. It was a new Mario game, something that we've been waiting for a long time.
But I'm also not stupid. Nintendo has only a finite number of these huge IPs, so they're not going to release all of them at once.
No.
Expect 1 or 2 of those titles to come in as a launch title.
I feel like Zelda U is a given.
I think Zelda U and Mario are going to be the ones they're going to go with, because that's how you sell a system. You need to have a couple really huge games to start off with.
And Nintendo didn't do that with some of the past console releases, which was kind of like made me question why for some reason. But hopefully by now I think Nintendo has learned. So I think that it is going to start packaging these or combining these releases. You know.
Yeah, the Wii U had a very disappointing list of launch titles, and it was
so did the 3DS when it first launched.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it did.
Hugely disappointing.
Yeah, Pilot Wings, woohoo!
I know. That's why
Street Fighter.
I didn't get a 3DS until a long time in, because I was very, very unimpressed by the whole lineup.
Casual. What?
Particular, I have standards.
Yeah, you might have standards. I'm a Nintendo fan, tried and true.
Nice try. You keep telling yourself
I got
that.
the light blue one on launch day, the midnight launch. I got Super Street Fighter 4.
Do you know that he keeps rubbing it in my face that he's an ambassador? Like, that's supposed to impress me. It doesn't.
I'm sorry, can you play Minish Cap on your 3DS? No, move along.
Do I want to play Minish Cap on my 3DS? Okay, maybe I do.
Move along.
Maybe I do.
All right, next. You guys think Nintendo will make more Legend of Zelda series Amiibo? We already answered that one, so we'll move on to the next one. How did you get into Nintendo? This is from Zach. So I got into Nintendo when I was 4. I had an NES. I played it a lot. I really did. I was in my basement playing NES with my neighbor constantly. He had one too. He had Punch-Out. I didn't. I had Ninja Turtles, and I had Super Mario Brothers, and a few other games as well. I loved it to death. I skipped over the Super Nintendo for a Sega Genesis instead.
You missed the best console with the best RPGs.
I didn't buy it.
That's so sad.
My parents bought me a Genesis, and I played Genesis, and I liked it, sort of. So I missed Super Nintendo. But then I had a Game Boy, and Game Boy got me back to Nintendo hardcore.
Yeah.
Game Boy Color, Pokemon. Oh my god, so good. I got an N64. I mean, I've been pretty much a Nintendo kid, minus a few years, my entire life. Yeah. So, I mean, I have the... Oops, wrong arm.
Wrong arm.
Whoop. I have the
go.
Zelda tattoo. I plan on getting more Zelda tattoos. I'm absolutely obsessed with the Nintendo, so...
Same here. I was actually about 2 years old. One of my very first memories was I was barely walking, and my mom is the original gamer. So she was, because I always considered us the original like generation where we can really appreciate gaming. She was actually before us, and she's been a gamer even longer than that, because obviously she was old enough to be able to buy these systems and enjoy them. So I remember her playing the original Legend of Zelda, and she would have a big bowl of Jay's barbecue chips, and I remember toddling over to the bowl and watching her play Legend of Zelda, and she would give me the other controller and pretend to let me play it, and she'd make these remarks like, "Oh wow, I didn't do that. Like, did you do that, Lauren?" And right away, I got so excited, and over time, she let me play games more and more. So the fact that it's like I can still have these vivid memories of seeing her play and make excuses to family members. Oh, sorry, we can't get over there yet because she had to get to a place where she could save in the game. Yeah. And it was very, very impressionable, and I can't imagine growing up without Zelda, Mario, and all of the major characters that we love so much.
There you go. All right, let's do a few more. So what do you guys think, what do you guys hope that Nintendo's going to accomplish with the NX? I would like to see them grow their market share, and I want to see that happen.
Yes.
I'm nervous only because we have PlayStation now that are they're supposedly releasing the PlayStation 4K sometime this year, which is going to have full 4K functionality. And if that does happen, Nintendo is going to be a step behind Sony again.
Yeah.
I really want to see Nintendo leading the pack.
Same.
It's going to be complicated, though. I really think that.
So I think what you said, you want Nintendo to lead the pack. That's my biggest wish right now.
Yeah.
I really want them to take a step up because I think Nintendo fans are hardcore, we love Nintendo.
Yeah.
But everybody else almost doesn't take it seriously enough because they don't consider it like real gaming compared to PlayStation and Xbox. I don't get it either. I don't think there is such a thing as real gaming. I think that if you enjoy video games, that's what gaming is. And there is no hierarchy of gaming like other fans are expressing. So I would like there to be a bit more of a balance between, I think, all three of the major systems. Yeah,
Nintendo deserves a lot more credit for what they do for the gaming community. So I would love to see the NX just blow the competition away. Yeah. I'm not holding my breath at the moment, but I think that they have some cool surprises in store.
I do too.
So let's do one more. Let's do this one. What games have you guys been personally... Oh, God, it's Cinnamon Roll. Get out of here.
You didn't mention my favorite question.
I was
disappointed.
Go ahead. What was the question?
It's near the bottom because it was one of the first questions that was asked.
I'm guessing it's this one by Joe.
There it is.
It is by Joe.
Yes.
We met this guy in New York, by the way. Super nice guy.
Wonderful person.
Is Cinnamon Roll going to be the official mascot of the Nintendo Newscast? He's not going to be because he's going to find himself missing soon.
Jason, okay, if you don't follow us on Twitter, you probably don't know the story, but in a nutshell, I have this very large 15-inch cinnamon roll plushie with a smiley face on it, and it's become quite the mascot for us.
Yep.
Even though Jason doesn't think so, and he keeps stealing it. You see a lot of photos, posts of it all over the place on Twitter and in our live streams. So it's around, and yes, all hail the cinnamon roll.
It's okay. It's okay. So. You know what? We should leave it on that one. The Cinnamon Roll mascot's a good one to leave it on. So before we go, we're going to tell you guys where you can find us all over the internet. But before we do that, I want to give a special shout out to our announcer, Jared Rutledge. Yeah. The guy is outstanding. But besides me, just kind of here saying all this cool stuff about him, I'm going to give him a second to go ahead and tell us where we can find him on the internet. So go ahead, Jared. It's on you.
You can find me on Twitter at Jared_Rutledge, or email me at jaredrutt@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you, Jared. And why don't we go ahead and find out where we can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Happily Candied, and my personal website, which I don't update too often, but once in a while, is linked in there in my description there. It's my sugary corner of the world, as you love hearing me say.
That's so cute.
I talk about my photography. I talk about all the sweet things I love and cute things. I love cute things like that cinnamon roll plush we were talking about earlier. And of course, you can always find me over at Nintendo Inquirer. Our Twitter for that is at Nintendo INQ, and our official website, NintendoInquirer.com, is also linked there.
Oh man, I got nothing to talk about now.
You can talk
during
about
my portion.
yourself. You can talk about yourself.
That's fine. I see how it is.
Go ahead.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at Amiibo Jason. I pretty much just talk anything gaming related, mostly Nintendo, but I am a fan of video games as a whole. And then you can find out just kind of my thoughts on the world. All the amazing thoughts on the world.
He has a lot of fun thoughts.
You can also find me on Twitter in several places again, which is at Nintendo INQ, which you mentioned before, and at Amiibo News for all of your Amiibo-related news and content. We also have something called Toys INQ, which I love. Toys INQ or Toys Inquirer, is a site or a page dedicated specifically towards video game related merchandise and toys. We're updating it as quickly as we can right now. We're kind of slow to update it currently, but we're going to hit it very hard soon. So we have that. And then, honestly, we love doing this. So if you guys have any questions or concerns for us, you can hit us up on our contact page on our website, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Yep.
So, all right, that does it for episode 1 of the Nintendo Newscast. It's in the can. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good afternoon or a good morning or a good evening, depending on when you're listening or watching this, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.